So, hallo, ja, weil das ist ja jetzt gerade richtig perfekt. Ich habe mich gerade muted und dann sehe ich hier direkt Power Freak. Guten Abend, hallo, hallo, hallöchen. Ich hoffe, du hattest einen schönen Tag. Ich bin mir ziemlich sicher, ich weiß, was du heute getrieben hast, ungefähr. Zumindest so halbwegs. Ja, und wir sind hier bei unserem schönen Donnerstagabend Trails in the Sky, Legend of Trails in the Sky, Second Chapter Stream. Ich bin mir ziemlich sicher übrigens, dass ich die letzten paar Streams von diesem Game das Second Chapter vergessen habe, in den Titel zu packen. Ich bin mir nicht sicher, ob ich als Game, das gespielt wird, First Chapter, das Second Chapter eingestellt habe, aber ich bin mir sehr sicher, dass ich das Second Chapter im Titel vergessen habe. Ich hoffe, man vergibt mir. Passt alles. Okay, okay. Ich habe vorhin versucht nochmal beim Locher vorbeizuschauen. Bei dem, was er gerade tut. Aber die Seite scheint relativ belastet zu sein. Es hat super langsam geladen alles. Also ich bin dann irgendwann reingekommen, aber da hatte ich keine wirkliche Zeit mehr und da waren 10 Leute in dem Call, also bin ich wieder gegangen, einfach mal direkt. Hat sich erstmal nicht gelohnt. Vielleicht nach dem Stream mal schauen, aber ich vermute, bis dahin ist es schon wieder vorbei. Mal gucken. Ja. Oh, wie war euer Tag so? Fangen wir doch an mit ein klein wenig Talken, während wir hier so ein bisschen den Startbildschirm laufen lassen. Ich muss sagen, das Sour Raspberry ist wirklich sauer. Und vermutlich auch Raspberry. Das ist jetzt nicht so der... Ich habe Last Story zugeschickt. Last Story, war das nicht auf der Wii? War das nicht eines dieser ganz ruhig, Power Freak, du musst jetzt nicht in Caps schreiben hier alles, ja? Okay. Das ist keine Rolle, ey. Du weißt, dass das ein Joke war. Ja gut, ich meine, das ist natürlich cool. Das einzige Spiel, das ich auch mal irgendwann mal spielen wollte, aber dann ist ja meine Wii damals kaputt gegangen. Theoretisch habe ich ja jetzt die Wii U, aber ich habe mich nie drum gekümmert. Die Wii U ist auch nicht aufgebaut. Die habe ich niemals hier in dieser Wohnung aufgebaut. Ja, aber ist ja cool. Ah ja, da fällt mir ein. Das wird dich actually interessieren, Power Freak. Hast du eigentlich den Trailer zum neuen AI-Game gesehen? Hier AI The Somnium Files. The Nirvana. Irgendwas? Nirvana Project? Nirvana File? Nee, Files. Nirvana. Keine Ahnung. Hast du den gesehen? Warte, gib mir eine Sekunde. Schau mal kurz auf. Nirvana Initiative auf hier Discord. Ich habe dir einen Link zum Trailer geschickt. Ja, ich habe den gestern Abend, ich war im Bett gehen, ich habe kurz nochmal YouTube hier aktualisiert und dann sehe ich diesen Trailer und ich war so, das sieht sehr interessant aus. Bin ich gespannt. Ich meine, du warst ja ein großer, von dem, was ich so mitbekommen habe, warst du eigentlich ein relativ guter Fan von AI The Somnium Files, deswegen glaube ich, könnte dich das freuen. Und Pinja Girl möglicherweise auch. Ich weiß actually nicht, wie ihre Meinung zu dem Spiel war. Oh. Ich soll aufhören, mir den Energy Drink runter zu kippen wie Wasser. Das soll mir eigentlich heute Abend reichen. Okay. So. Ich würde sagen, wir machen mal eine klassische kleine Recap vom letzten Stream. Im letzten Stream war ich müde wie nichts, deswegen erinnere ich mich nicht an das super viel. Aber an sich, was wir gemacht haben, ist, wir sind nun ganz lange gekommen, wir haben uns gewissermaßen gesamte Hauptstadt angeschaut, sind überall durch, haben mit allen NPCs, zumindest allen, die wir gefunden haben, geredet, mal umgeschaut, mal besonders in dem neuen Warehouse District, was ja im ersten Teil gesperrt war, haben wir uns ein bisschen umgeschaut. Da war jetzt nicht viel, aber war ganz interessant. Und wir haben uns wir sind in die Sewers gegangen, haben uns da ein bisschen durchgeprügelt, weil wir hatten da noch eine Monster Extermination Quest. Wir sind nicht durch in alle Bereiche gekommen und ich denke, ich vermute und hoffe, weil ich meine, wir hatten da glaube ich eine Passage, die von dem Schloss aus kommt und oder die von der anderen Seite der Sewer-Eingänge. Es gab ja auch noch im Osten ein, dass man von da aus kommt, dass man da zu diesen Bereichen kam und ich nicht einfach nur irgendwo einen Weg übersehen habe. Ja. Und dann sind wir rüber zur Erbe Royal Villa, weil dort wohl ein Mädchen ihre Eltern verloren hat. Und dann haben wir erstmal Verstecken spielen mäßig nach der suchen müssen. Und ich habe lange daran verzweifelt und war komplett. Ich war so fertig. Und nach einer langen Suche haben wir sie dann endlich mit Hilfe Tipps vom guten Locher unterm Tresen gefunden. Und rausgefunden, hey, es ist Ren, die irgendwie von ihren Eltern da zurückgelassen wurde im Endeffekt. Wieso auch immer. Steckt bestimmt irgendwas Großes dahinter. Das sind ihre Elternteile von Uroboros. Wer weiß, vielleicht ist sie einer von Uroboros. Ich habe keine Ahnung. Ich weiß es wirklich nicht. Ja. Aber ja, jetzt sollen wir Ren zurück erstmal zur Hauptbranch nehmen. Um dort um sie zu kümmern. Und dann werden wir wahrscheinlich ein bisschen mit der Main Quest fortfahren, werde ich ein bisschen mehr Story bekommen. Und dann wird es wahrscheinlich direkt wieder ein paar neue Sidequests haben, die wir machen dürfen. Also haben wir auf jeden Fall schon mal ein bisschen was geplant. So. Oh, ich habe gerade irgendwas im Auge. Ja, das stimmt, wir haben Chloe gerade dabei, weil wir gegen einen magieanfälligen Gegner gekämpft haben. Ich muss das vielleicht am besten später nochmal umwechseln, dass wir wieder Sinn dabei haben. Und da sind wir. Alle 5 von uns. Alles klar. So. Unser Ziel ist jetzt derzeit eigentlich, ach, das haben wir ja, zurück zur Gilde geht's. Im besten Fall schaffen wir es auch zurück, ohne Rennen in einem Encounter killen zu lassen. Aber ich meine, wir sollten nichts versprechen, wisst ihr, doch, also wir tun unser Bestes, aber weißt du, wenn sie stirbt, dann ist das natürlich wirklich schade einfach nur gewesen. Es ist sehr hart, ich weiß. So, oh, der tat weh, aber hat überlebt. Wir pengen. Okay, ja, lauf einfach darüber. Keiner dieser NPCs war jemals wieder so nützlich wie Dorothy, die mit ihrem Blitzlicht die Gegner blendet. Kann sie so ein MVP mit ihren Skills. Ja genau, wir müssen hier lang. Oh fuck, es ist ein Big Gator. Es ist ein Impergator. Ach so. Ah yes, you are. Okay. Ach hey! Es ist hier, wie hieß der Butler nochmal? Philipp? Was? Philipp? Huh? Oh my, Philipp! Where have you been? Es war Philipp. Your concern does me too much credit, Your Highness. Hope you and Mrs. Stella are well. Have you been to the villa recently? I have actually. You were, busy in the capital, I take it? Yes, I was making some purchases on the orders of His Highness the Duke. Did you perchance encounter His Highness while you were at the villa? You encountered him, alright? I wanted to be nice and say hello. It's been some time since the unpleasantness. So würde ich das auch beschreiben. From your expressions, I take it he said something thoughtless to you once again. As his retainer, you have my utmost apologies. Oh, you don't need to apologize for him, Philip. I have to admit, I was a little worried when I'd heard he was placed under house arrest. He seems to be taking it well, however. It is kind of you to say so. Now I fear I must be off. If you'll pardon me, Your Highness. Da ist einfach ein Monster und Philipp läuft da einfach ohne irgendwas da entlang einfach. Guess Philip's job is even harder now. He's been taking care of Dunan since Dunan was young, right? He's been Dunan's retainer for the past 20 years from what Grandmother tells me. I believe he was a member of the Royal Guard before then. Ah, okay, ja dann. Wait, really? Philip? Oh, I guess you really can't judge by looks. Ah, well, I shouldn't underestimate him. I can tell he's not just any old guy. Huh? What do you mean, Ren? Oh, you know, like how he can walk with his eyes closed. I sure couldn't do that. Ich traue nicht. I think they're just narrowed, Ren, not closed. I mean, you noticed how he opens his eyes when surprised, right? Really? Didn't. I wanna see. Maybe I can get a good look if I surprise him next time. Ich sollte vielleicht aufhören mitzusehen. Ich kann mir vorstellen, dass das stört. Ich mach einfach direkt weiter. Der Soundtrack ist aber auch so gut. Verdammt noch eins. Weg von mir. Wir haben halt echt ein großes Problem mit so einer großen Gruppe. Das ist die große Gruppe. So. Okay, let's get back to the guild. I need to talk to Elnan about the rank. Just that, but our army contact should be showing up soon. You didn't forget about that, right? Oh, crying out. Huh, what's wrong? You said you're gonna show me to the guild place, right? Huh. Well, milady, Please lend me your hand. I, Olivia Lenheim, shall have the honor of escorting you. No thank you. I'd rather Mrs. Stell to show me. My disappointments are ceaseless. Sorry, Olivia, no luck. Come on, Ren. I'll show you to the Bracer Guild. Yay! Hey, warte mal kurz. Oops, late again. This is a fuck. I was getting sidetracked. Hey, you in the white. Do you mean me? Yeah, you. Aren't you gonna come say hi? Oh, why do I have to say hello to you? Everyone who comes to visit town has to come say hi to me. I don't want to. What did you? After all, my papa said a gentleman always introduces himself first. I don't want to be friends with someone who doesn't practice common courtesy. RIP der Dude anscheinend. Hier, so, da. Guten Time. We're back, Alan! Oh! Hi, Estelle! Oh shit, Sid ist unser Kontakt. Hello again, Miss Bright. We seem to be running into each other quite a bit these days. Well, hey there, Colonel Sid. Fucked out man might send you, Sid. I'm back from Naston Fortress, I see. That's right. I just arrived here a little while ago on one of our patrol ships. I apologize for the wait. No, it's okay. We actually had a little job of our own to take care of. Speaking of which, would that young lady be... Oh right, yeah, she is. Some stuff went down, so we had to bring her along. Hey, Ren, we've got some things we need to talk about with the army man. Can you go wait on the second floor? Oh, is it work stuff? Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, yes, I don't mind. You're just like Papa. It's always work, work, work. I don't really like that very much. Aww. Ren, right? Do you want to talk for a little while? I want to get to know you. With you? Well, okay, I guess we could. Okay. Maybe on the second floor, Estelle. Aww. Saved by the title. Well, your report on the situation can wait for now. Let's see out Colonel Sid first. Sure. Hey, no, Sid. Thank you. I'm in a hurry myself. So, this is an official request from the Royal Army. There's a series of incidents we'd like you to investigate. Incidents? Well, that's the way you say that makes me shiver a bit. You're aware of the non-aggression pact, yes? Afraid threatening letters have been delivered to all parties involved in signing. Wait a Sekunde. Someone's threatening the treaty? That's not good at all. What did the letter say exactly? Please, have a look. All parties involved in the non-aggression pact immediately back down from this act of deceit and false compromise. Should you not, a great disaster will be visited upon you. What in the... Yeah, that's a threat, alright? That's the whole thing. Yes, that's the entire thing. As you may have noticed, there's no name or any other indication of a sender. Normally, I'd simply dismiss it as a prank. However, something about the situation makes you believe it's more than a bad joke, yes? Yes, it's the volume of letters sent, you see. The first arrived at Leisten Fortress. Copies were then sent to the airship company, Ransel Cathedral, Hotel Roenbaum, and the Liberal News Service. Then, copies arrived at both the Erebonian and Calvert embassies, the Abbey Royal Villa, and even Gransel Castle itself. 9 letters in total. Would send that many letters? Yeah, that'd be a lot of work for a prank in poor taste. Weil es sind 9 Briefe, das ist jetzt nicht so krass. Das sind wahrscheinlich mehr Briefe, als ich in meinem Leben geschrieben habe, aber trotzdem. I can see why the army would start to get concerned. I don't get it though. The airship company, the Liberal News, the frigging hotel and a church. I don't seem to have anything to do with the signing. They are not totally unrelated, to be honest. The airship company will be sending out charter vessels to ferry the Imperial and the Republican officials here. They will, of course, be staying at the Roenbaum. Furthermore, the church, or specifically Archbishop Current Cathedral, has been asked to be an observer at the signing. The Liberal News has been preparing a special report on the pact and signing for weeks. Okay, so they are all connected somehow. So do we have any idea who's behind it? That could be a difficult question to answer. This is an international matter, meaning anyone from Libel, Erebonia, or Calvert could be responsible. Yes, the Warhawks in either the Empire or the Republic, for starters, could even be someone from another country entirely who isn't happy to see all 3 countries working together. Of course, there are plenty of suspects in Libel as well. We can't forget the obvious answer, the society. So what exactly do you want us to investigate here, Sid? Right then, the mission. We would like for you to investigate all the locations that have received the letters, and see if anyone has any further leads. Minus Leisten and Erbe, that is. We'll handle those. The other 7 locations are yours. Es klingt mir nach viel Arbeit. To the Airship Company, Ransel Cathedral, Hotel Roenbaum, the Liberal News, the Erebonian Embassy, the Calvardian Embassy, and Gransel Castle. That will involve a bit of walking. More to the point, uniformed soldiers asking around would attract a great deal of unwanted attention. Now that you lack an intelligence division, makes sense to ask the guild to help investigate such matters. As embarrassing as the situation is, you're exactly right. Without a functional intelligence division, very limited in what we can do. However, the new general plan from the top brass is to have the guild help us with as many tasks as possible. This is simply one case of that. Oh really? Thanks a heap, Dad. Yeah, that's about what I'd expect from an old man. I must admit, it was my request to ask for you, however. I've been placed in charge of the defense of the capital region till the signing ceremony. I would like as much information as I can possibly obtain in order to prepare a proper defense. Can I ask you to take this job? Well, I do want to help, but we're really kinda hip deep in another case at this point. That girl, right. Let us hear your report on that situation now. Stellis explained the situation with Ren being abandoned at the Abbey Royal Villa. I see. Yes, an abandoned child is a problem you cannot simply ignore. Why would anyone do such a thing? It's kind of freaking me out too. I actually met her parents once briefly. They seemed like this really thoughtful, loving couple. They adore Ren from what I saw. I have to think something really serious happened to them to make them leave her. Possibly. They may have gotten entangled in something and wanted to keep their child out of it. And I do see an opportunity to kill two birds with one stone, however. Huh? When and their parents are foreigners, remember? We need to inquire at the hotel and the embassies regardless. Hey, I think I know where you're going with this. And it just so happens they got threatened. We'd want to check with the airship company too, come to think. I'll put out a general alert to all army posts to watch for our parents as well. Should they pass through any of the big checkpoints, we should know. Thanks, Colonel. Sounds like you can take the job after all. Colonel, you may leave the investigation itself to us. I presume you'll want to the final report in paper and in person, however. Yes, we'd prefer to avoid telephones to avoid any risk of interception. You'll be able to find me at the Air Royal Villa beginning today, actually. I'm sorry for the extra trouble. Ich hab's gerade ein bisschen im Hals, sorry. Ah, but could you ask I asked that you bring the final report there in person. Sure, we'll see you at the villa once we know what's up. I wish you luck then. After seeing Colonel sit out, Estelle's team decided to split up to investigate. Estelle, Zin, Olivia, and Chloe were to head to the embassies, Basil Castle, and the Liberal News, while a gate would investigate the cathedral, hotel, and airship company on its own. Okay, wir haben jetzt eine relativ spezifische Party, die wir bekommen hier. Okay, we'll be heading out. Taita, Ren, sorry to leave you two behind. Oh, it's okay. We're going out shopping. Ah, what? Sorry, Estelle. Ren really wants to visit the department store. Alles klar, guten Abend. Willkommen zurück, Power Freak. Ich hoffe, es hat gemundet. That's not how I remembered things, Taita. As I recall, you were the one who said you wanted to look at all the stuffed animals. Oh, Ren. Well, I know you're bored, Ren, but since I'm not sure when we'll find out something about your parents, I'd like for you to wait here. Oh, come on. It's not fair. Double doughy eye stairs. Ah, it'll be cool. Kaya's with her, so they should be fine if they're just out shopping and stuff. I guess so. Okay, Taita, Ren, we'll be back by this evening. So you need to be back by then too, okay? And the capital's a really big place, so don't get lost. We will, and we won't. We will, and we won't. Ren, let's go. After you. See you, everyone. Ich bin mir bei Ren wirklich nicht sicher. Ich erwarte nur, dass sie böse ist, aus irgendeinem Grund. Warum vertraue ich? Ich kann nicht mal mehr kleinen Kindern vertrauen in diesem Game. We sure became fast friends. Friends fast. Oder? Keine Ahnung. Yeah, it's really easy to become friends at that age. Man, I feel all out now. Although, I and Ren together. There's that combination sent a chill of doom down my spine. Oh, I think they'll be fine. That's kind of easy to push around though. I get a feeling Ren might try to drag her into all kinds of stuff. That might be a good point. Oh yeah, Elnan. Did you get the names of that kid's parents? It took a little insistent asking, but she eventually gave them. Father is a trader from Crossbow. Harold and Sophia Hayworth are the names. Trader from Crossbow. Harold and Sophia Hayworth. Okay, got it written down. I got it too. Alright, let's get this investigation started. So remember, Estelle's group will visit the embassies, Basil Castle and the Liberal News. Zin, Olivia, we will be counting on your aid at the embassies. Fear not. My brilliant smile can open any door. We'll make sure you see to the ambassadors. Your Highness, your help would be invaluable at Basil Castle. Please introduce the style to whoever can best help our investigation. Of course. Entschuldigung für das Husten. Ich bin, wie gesagt, ich ist ein bisschen gerade in meinem Hals aus irgendeinem Grund. Ich weiß auch nicht. Oh Gott, come on. Ich hab's gerade irgendwie im Hals stecken. Okay. As for the legal news, I believe you yourself have an in for that, Estelle. Yeah, I can bug Nile about it. Kinda owes me at this point. And that leaves the cathedral, the airship company, and the Rounbow. Again, good luck with those. No prop, shouldn't take too long. So, let's go. Time to get questioning then. Where should we start? Don't think it matters too much. If you want to go to the Calvardian embassy, you got a free pass with me around. I can introduce you to Elsa whenever. I, of course, can get us into the Erebonian embassy. You should be glad to escort us if I introduce myself at the gate. And of course, I rather doubt it'll be very hard for me to get us into Gransel Castle. It might be wise to simply go straight there and speak with Grandmother. I cannot doubt the legal news will give us any trouble either, so let's just pick a direction and go. Alles klar! Wir haben Free Time! Ja, fällt mir ein, ich werde das jetzt hier sagen. Ich meine, wir haben, glaube ich, gerade bloß Power Freak im Chat. Das ist der eine von meinen Zuschauern, den es nicht so groß interessieren wird. Aber ich werde am Samstag keinen Stream machen. Als kleine Info. Ja, nur so. Das wird leider am Samstag keinen Stream geben. Aber da das bloß ein normaler Stream ist, wird das Power Freak nicht so ja, traurig machen, habe ich das Gefühl. Warte mal kurz, lass uns das mal okay. Ja, ich bin mir sicher, du bist äußerst traurig, dass ich da keinen Stream machen werde. Der Yin Yang, der gibt halt echt gute hier, Charts mit sich und ich will eigentlich Chloe zu meiner Main Healerin machen. Deswegen glaube ich, würde es sich mehr lohnen, wenn ich ihr das mal gebe. Und dafür gebe ich Estelle, ich glaube, in dem Falle werde es sich sogar lohnen, actually Estelle ein bisschen damit Trigger zu spielen, weil wir haben Sinn, der schon tankig genug ist und gut Damage macht. Und ich würde gerne eigentlich mit ihr ein bisschen mehr Damage auch machen. Das ist gar nicht schlecht, aber ich glaube, wir würden dann mehr ihr einen Attack hier geben. Und anstatt des Yin und Yang würde ich ihr vielleicht was gebe ich ihr denn am besten? Ich meine, ich könnte ihr in Action 2 geben, dann würde es ein bisschen dünner sein an dieser Stelle. Wird sich vielleicht lohnen. Speed ist vermutlich, würde ich vermuten, die Anzahl, oder wann du, in welcher Reihenfolge du drankommst. Im Kampf. Ich frage mich, ob man schnell genug sagen kann, actually, dass man zweimal zwischen einer Aktion des Gegners zweimal drankommen kann mit demselben Charakter. Okay, Fuck my life. Okay, wo ist die Orbital Factory? Komm her. Fuck mich richtig ab. Lass mich kurz hier, okay, dann können wir hier das hier reinmachen. Das hier, weil hier gibt uns ja bloß, wir haben ja gewissermaßen hier schon drin. Deswegen geben wir das hier. Lass mich mal. Ich wollte Quarz. Oh Gott, die kosten so fucking viel. Gib mir einfach mal ein zweites HP 2 zumindest. Okay, dann. Okay. Kann nicht gewissermaßen Mira in Seepif umwandeln. Okay. So, geben wir ihr mal das HP 2. Stimmt, wir haben kein EPK 2 hier. Ist ein EPK 1. Wir nehmen dafür, hier geben ihr den EPK 2. Spitze. Ich greife nicht so oft an mit ihr. Vielleicht wird es sich actually einfach lohnen, ihr ein bisschen mehr EP zu geben. Dann kriegt sie noch ein paar Binds Selects with the Power of Movement -4. Okay. Blue Ascension. Und dann vielleicht noch könnten wir die bei Defenses, das was wir hier. Tier All, wenn ich hier reinsetzen würde, würde ich Tier All bekommen, womit ich vermutlich alle heilen kann. Ich habe actually keinen Gruppenspiel. Stimmt, mit Sleep kriege ich ein Gruppenspiel hier rein. Das ist eigentlich wahrscheinlich was ich beachten sollte. Dann Sleep oder in P2. Machen wir doch einfach Sleep. So. Ja, okay. Als nächstes stimmt, wir wollten hier noch mal reinschauen. Person Unity recovers one. Das könnte. Was gibt es eigentlich? Das gibt alles Mögliche, das ist gar nicht mal schlecht. Das können zusammenbekommen. Ah, okay. Mit MP2 könnten wir würden wir noch mal ein paar mehr Buff-Skills bekommen. Das wäre vielleicht gar nicht schlecht. Poison ist nicht unbedingt. Das ist auch nicht schlecht, aber wir benutzen ihn auch. Wir für ihn ein paar starken Arts könnten wir definitiv ein bisschen was machen. Wir sollten hiermit sogar auch Angriffs. Ja, wir haben dann sogar Wind Spells, was halt doch schon nicht schlecht ist. Sinn hat, haben wir auf Defense gebaut. Wir haben. Ich würde gerne mehr HP füllen haben. P-Cut aufbauen. P-Cut macht eigentlich nicht wirklich Sinn. Ich könnte ein Shield geben. Das würde sich vielleicht lohnen, weil er dann ein bisschen mehr Tanky gegen Magic wird. Und ich meine, er braucht keine Magic Attack. Cast wird er nicht brauchen. Ich glaube, Shield ist sogar das, was sich am meisten lohnt hier. Er verliert bloß eine Magic Attack, aber er kriegt dafür 30 Magic Defense hinzu. Was wirklich sich nutzt. Ich verliere dadurch ein bisschen Wasser. Ja, okay, es verliert also ein bisschen was. Ich krieg, glaube ich, keinen. Ich habe eh schon Evade drin, aber es sollte passen. Seiner ist halt, sein Teil ist halt aufgebaut, dass wir wir können viele kleine Kombinationen machen, aber glaube ich keine nicht so simpel große Verbindungen, einfach weil wir so viele einzelne Wege haben. Okay, damit haben wir jetzt unser Team ein bisschen neu aufgestellt. Speichern wir mal, schon mal ganz kurz, haben wir equipped alles richtig drin hier. Ja, das sollte alles passen. Okay. Als nächstes weil ich nochmal hier in die Gilde reinschauen, ob wir ja noch neue Quests haben. Ach ja, genau, wir können direkt was erstmal reporten, weil das ja. Good work. It seems to succeeded with your objective safely. You complete any other task. Come report again. Okay, wir haben the missing exhibit. Difficulty medium, the missing history. Okay, a bit ago, one of our exhibits was removed by someone. It's not a particularly valuable item, so it's likely just a prank, but I would like to ask for an investigation just to be safe. Please come to our museum, East Block, near the landing port. Alles klar. Und das ist Short Term, das heißt, wir sollten das jetzt machen. Ich weiß echt nicht. Aber nee, das ist nicht das Mysterium. East Block. Auf zum East Block. Da kann ich hier actually Taita und sind die hier hingegangen? Da sind sie. Oh, Estelle. Taita, take care of Lorraine. Yeah, leave it to me. I've got lots of places I want to go with Ren. Just don't get lost. Okay. Good luck with your work. Right. So this is where you were. Hi, Estelle. Hey, which stuffed animal do you like? I think that rabbit's pretty cute. Really? What a coincidence. I think that bunny's the cutest too. Looking at these stuffed animals reminds me of an Annalise. Wonder what she's doing now. Annalise? She's a racer like me, but she's a lady who loves stuffed animals. I'm sure you two would get along, Ren. I get to meet this lady. She's out of the capital on work right now, but you might meet her at some point. And at some point, tomorrow? The day after? I'm not quite sure. Ah. Okay. We'll keep shopping here for a bit. Alles klar. So, schauen wir doch mal nach, warum wir... Bevor wir das machen, ich gehe ganz kurz aufs Klo und versuche meinen Hals frei zu bekommen. Kurz, wir sind gleich wieder da. Ja. Ja. Hallöchen. Ich will da. Ich möchte anmerken, es ist ein bisschen blöd mittlerweile, dass es ist der doof, dass ich mein Titel jetzt im Glauben gemacht habe, dass wir Rennen jetzt für eine Weile mitschleppen würden. Und wir sind keine Stunde im Stream und wir haben Rennen abgegeben. Und der Streamtitel ist jetzt nicht mehr akkurat. Warte mal, wer war der Auftraggeber? Dann müssen wir vielleicht einfach wieder. Lately, the museum head and the curators seem to be very busy. Hope they don't fall ill. Gehen wir einfach mal hoch und reden mit dem Museumsdirektor, der hier sein sollte. Okay. Vielleicht. Wie lange hier unten? Das ist niemand. The Great Collapse was the trigger for the destruction of the Sumerian culture. Perhaps it has something to do with the towers. I handed over that thing to the museum director. Apparently they're looking into whether or not it's something the museum can hold on to. So I'm having a wonder while they check it out. So, hello there, how can I help you? Better yet, how can we help you? With the bracer good, sir. Oh, excellent. I was hoping someone would come soon. Let's waste no time getting down to business. Yeah, sure. What was stolen? About that. Do you notice anything off here? Off? This is the airship gallery, right? Hey, now that you mention it, something seems to be missing. You're right, Estelle. There was a portrait of the sailor on this wall, as I recall. Now that you mention Chloe, I do remember something like that being here. How could I forget? I saw the portrait myself while touring the capital. Guess we know why you called us now. The portrait of the sailor was stolen, wasn't it? Precisely that. It was this morning, but around noon or so, I noticed that it was gone. This card was on the wall and it's for fuck's sake, es ist schon wieder Blue Blanc. Oder? Oh beauteous princess and her loyal companions, the image of the proud white falcon has fallen into my hands. Would you seek it, then answer my challenge. The first key is in the residence of the aged general. Search the onlooker of time. Guten Abend, Simon. Him again. Our rivalry burns brighter still. Yeah, sounds like Phantom Thief Blue Blah, right? Guys told me about him, but I thought you were exaggerating. You already know what a criminal is. Now that's what I call reassuring. I have every confidence that you'll crack this case. We won't let you down. We'll be back before you know it. Oh my good lord, nicht schon wieder. Ah, fucking hell. Ich meine, ich habe in letzter Zeit Zero Escape Games gespielt. Ich bin hoffentlich besser in Rätsel geworden. Residence of the Old General. Das heißt hier General. Warte, nee, das ist nicht richtig hier. Wie geht's so? Ich würde sagen, eigentlich ganz gut. Bisschen, mein Hals ist aus irgendeinem Grund ein bisschen angeschlagen gerade. Aber an sich, würde ich sagen, ganz gut. Läuft alles. Bachelorarbeit geht voran und sonst habe ich jetzt gerade mal ein bisschen ruhigere Tage derzeit. Ja. Deswegen, also ja, eigentlich ist alles okay. Und wie geht es dir so? Ah, okay, so, wo haben wir denn eine Uhr hier? All my husband's dislikes of braces certainly speaks of them quite a lot recently. Perhaps it's Cassius' influence, shocking as it would be. Ah, das ist die Uhr. Aber das scheint nicht die Uhr zu sein, die wir suchen. Okay, schon weiß nie, was ich machen soll, EW und nächstes Jahr Abi. Ah ja. Ja, Abi ist gerne Stress. Ich kann mir sehr vorstellen. Ich meine, ich hatte damals mein Abi ja unter normalen Umständen, könnte man sagen. Jetzt mit dieser ganzen, mit Corona und den ganzen, ja, von zu Hause aus Unterricht und all sowas, kann ich mir sehr gut vorstellen, dass das wirklich, dass das ein bisschen anstrengender ist. Ich drücke da die Daumen. Ja, es ist halt wirklich schwierig, wenn du halt zu Hause, keine Ahnung, vom PC setzt. Aufzupassen ist weitaus schwerer, als wenn du halt in der Schule sitzt, wo du halt im besten Fall dazu gezwungen bist, aufzupassen. Weil selbst dann kriegst du ja noch zumindest irgendwie so ein bisschen was mit. Ja, das kann ich mir vorstellen. Ich drück die Daumen. Das wird schon werden. Weißt du schon, in welchen Fächern du schreiben wirst? Also ich weiß, bei uns, wir hatten, ich glaube, Deutsch und halt unser, Deutsch war eine der Pflichtfächer. Ich meine, wir hatten noch unser gewissermaßen unser Fachgebiet, was, Informatik war. Informatik, ein Abi, ich glaube sogar nicht, nee. Mathe auf jeden Fall, Deutsch und Mathe. Und dann hatten wir noch, hatte ich noch Englisch. Ich glaube, aber Englisch musste man actually nicht machen, sondern man konnte, Mathe und Deutsch Pflicht. Ja, okay, ja. Schriftlich, ja, Englisch. Also uns wurde gesagt, dass man am besten Englisch schriftlich machen soll. Weil ganz ehrlich, Englisch geht wirklich. Das ist was Machbares, würde ich sagen. Persönlich. In der heutigen Zeit hat man so viele Möglichkeiten, Englisch zu lernen. Und mich persönlich überrascht es immer, wenn ich so Leute meines Alters treffe, die kein Englisch können. Und ich meine, klar, jeder ist unterschiedlich, wie sehr ihm Sprache und sowas liegen. Aber eigentlich in der heutigen Zeit ist Englisch halt sowas Verbreitetes und Wichtiges für so normales Arbeiten und einfach Online-Leben, dass ich sagen würde, dass die meisten einfach halt wirklich ein passables Englisch können. Deswegen, also für mich war damals Englisch relativ auch klar und ich meine es mal erwähnt zu haben, ich habe es als letztes noch Chemie als viertes schriftliches Fach gemacht und habe da 7 Punkte bekommen, weil die Klausur richtig schlecht lief. Aber das Gute war, das ist übrigens das Gute, aber hatte ein paar unschöne Aufgaben. Selbst wir hatten einen, das weiß ich noch, der war so ein richtiger Chemie-Überflieger. Und der hat bei dieser einen Aufgabe, ich habe diese Aufgabe angeschaut und ich war so, ich habe keine Ahnung, wie ich diese Aufgabe lösen soll. Selbst der hat gesagt, die Aufgabe war Bullshit. Deswegen, da bin ich, weiß nicht zu traurig. Weil 7 Punkte waren jetzt nicht das Beste für ein Abitur. Aber ich meine, es hat schlussendlich gereicht. Und dann hatte ich in Religion mein mündliches Abi gemacht. Und habe es damit auch noch auf einen, würde ich sagen, akzeptablen Abischnitt für meine Ansprüche. Hat es gereicht. Ja. Deswegen, ja, bei dir ist es dann nächstes Jahr. Wie gesagt, drück die Daumen, das wird bestimmt ganz gut laufen. Anfang auch Rallye Colo machen, aber Mann, wir machen so einen Scheiß da. Ja gut, das ist natürlich doof. Bei uns ich weiß noch, bei uns war es halt so, unsere Rallye-Lehrerin hatte, als ich da ein bisschen mit der drüber geredet habe, hat die mir im Endeffekt ein Dokument gegeben. Jüdisch hat ja keinen Lehrplan, er nimmt nur Themen aus seinem Studiengang. Das ist so schwer. Okay, ja, bei uns war es nämlich so, ich war auch evangelisch, und bei uns hat die Lehrerin actually im Endeffekt den Lehrplan in die Hand gedrückt und gemeint, so, das sind die Themen, guck die an, lass dich da vielleicht ein bisschen inspirieren von Dingen oder sowas. Hatte ich auch damals eine meiner GFS gemacht. Ja. So, lass uns kurz mal so nebenher mal vielleicht weitermachen. So the aged general is probably General Morgan. In that case, is this the onlooker of time? I'd say it's likely. We'll need to check inside. The cell asked and received permission from the owners of the house to investigate the clock. Upon inspection, they found a card stuck to the back. The second key is in the city. Seek the symbol perched on the ground. As we thought. Why? You think something like that was in this house? Well, this guy isn't the type to harm people who aren't involved in his weird plans, so don't worry. Just to close up tight at night, just in case there's any more mischief though. Yes, of course. Yes, we'll be careful. Alright, shall we continue? Ich muss für die Rallye, ich glaube, so 140 Seiten, ne? Das ist so schön. Wissen, wie Rallye ab ist. Ja, gut, ja, dann kann ich es verstehen. Es ist halt. Bei sowas kommt es, glaube ich, viel, denke ich, auf Münden, nicht auf Münden, auf den Lehrer auch so ein bisschen drauf an. Ich würde bei sowas immer, also klar sollte man vielleicht ein Fach nehmen, wo man auch Interesse dran hat, aber ein wichtiger Part ist halt auch, ist es ein Lehrer, der gute Noten gibt? Weil manche Lehrer, da kannst du es dir einfach abschmieren, eine gute Note zu erwarten, allein schon. Wobei beim Abitur natürlich nicht der Lehrer alleine deine Benotung abgibt, das sind ja meistens noch Zweit- und Drittprüfer mit dabei. Ach ja. Symbol in the city and the symbol perched on the ground. Okay. Ich muss mich ein bisschen umschauen kurz. Symbol perched on the ground. Das sollte man eigentlich finden, ne? Das sollte ja nicht. Wie viele Symbols sind schon auf dem Boden geperched? Es ist in the city, also würde ich vermuten, dass wir nicht hier nach unten laufen müssen. Was zu geben, Symbol perched on the ground sagt mir jetzt per se nichts, deswegen laufe ich einfach mal die ganze Stadt einfach mal ab. Nur wird sich schon was finden, ne? Weil, gut, anscheinend gehen wir jetzt nach Grindstone Castle, Leute. Das war nicht der Plan eigentlich. Oh hey, we listen our defenders of the crown. You guys basically have a free pass in here, so if you want to see someone, we can get you in easy. Or did you just want to have a walk around the palace? That's okay too. Actually, I'm here on bracer business today. Which is to say, hello, Dan, Alex, Alex, sag ich auch mal. It's been a while. Your Highness, Princess Claudia, we are not aware you returned. Sorry, I startled you too. I'm afraid I'm here on business though. Stella and I have some things in the castle to attend to. Could you let us pass, please? Of course, Your Highness. By your command, my lady. Oh. Huh. Only slightly popular, isn't she? I think I'm starting to get why the Duke guy is so jealous. Now entering Ladies Chloe and Estelle and entourage. Open the gate! Close the gate! Open the gate a little! Come on, Hals! Please come in! Thank you, you two. Well, Estelle, welcome back to my house, as it were. Come on in. Thanks. Bye, guys. Danke, haltet die Tür einfach auf. Tut einfach den Türstopper rein. Wir kommen wieder. Keine Angst. Ja, ich hab den Ofen angelassen, Alter. Tut mir leid, da, ja. Blöde Sache. Haben wir hier irgendwo ein Symbol perched on the ground? Das genau sagt. Ich bin mir actually nicht genau sicher, was die deutsche Übersetzung für perched ist. Das ist eines dieser Worte so, du liest es und du hast ungefähr die Ahnung, was gemeint ist, aber ich hab nicht so die spezifische. Ich könnte dir jetzt nicht sagen, was das spezifische deutsche Wort dafür ist. Und da habe ich vorhin erst drüber geredet, dass ich wie meine Ansicht zu Englisch-Skills geredet. Aber ich meine, wie gesagt, es ist an sich verstehe ich es. Da hinten ist es vermutlich einfach mal nicht. Er hat es nicht wieder hier mal versteckt. Okay, Symbol perch, background, ground. Wo ist das Symbol? Ich sollte wirklich nicht singen. Nach meiner Erfahrung, die ich mit Spielen wie oh Gott, wie heißen denn die? Alter, heute ist mein Hirn aber richtig kaputt. Das SingStar, genau. Mit SingStar, die Erfahrung, die ich damit gemacht habe, ist, dass mein Singen wohl unter der Beschreibung grausam zu bezeichnen ist. Fand ich niemals sehr freundlich von denen, aber ich meine, ich kann nicht unbedingt widersprechen. Haben wir ein Symbol auf dem Boden? Ich habe aber das Gefühl, das scheint irgendwie nicht fein zu sein. In the City heißt es ja. Das heißt, es muss ja hier irgendwo sein. Sollte es hier doch irgendwo finden. Perched. Oh. Das ist vielleicht einfach ein Schild, das auf dem Boden, am Boden aufgestellt ist, oder? Ah. Das ist nämlich sowas. Ich will eigentlich nicht weitermachen, aber weil die Remaining Time als Sport angegeben ist, das heißt, ich will eigentlich nicht vor Ende der Sidequest weitermachen. Gib mir eine Sekunde kurz. Ja, das Soundtrack ist halt wirklich schön, muss ich zugeben. Ja, dieser Song ist großartig. Im Kopf gemacht. Ja, es ist halt gerade eine Menge Spiele mit guten Soundtracks. Ich bereue es aber auch irgendwie nicht. Bam, 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 bam. Ein Spiele mit guten Soundtracks sind A und O immer. Nicht ein A und O, das ergibt keinen Sinn. Aber ein guter Soundtrack ist halt was sehr, sehr Wichtiges für ein gutes Spiel, würde ich sagen. Powered Clock made in the year 1163. Reception Calendar by Zeichen Manufacturers. Das ist natürlich nicht das Symbol. Ich glaube auch nicht, dass es na, ich zweifle an, dass es hier drin ist. Ah. Sehr, sehr. Das ist schwierig. Das zugeben. Bin mir nicht sicher, wo ich hier hin. Und so ein bisschen unter der Button. Dachte gerade ganz kurz, ich hätte mich hier durch eine Wand gerannt. Das wäre natürlich etwas doof. Das ist awkward. Wir machen die Speedrun-Tactics hier gewissermaßen. Ja, gleich schieben wir eine Pizza in den Ofen. Oh, okay. Der ist. Dann hier unten. Na, 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 na. Ah. Also bisher das einzige Symbol auf dem Boden, das ich jetzt bisher gefunden hatte, wäre das in der Kathedrale. Ah. Das ist theoretisch das City, ich meine, wir sind theoretisch draußen in der Stadt, aber das ist die Kathedrale, das ist ja direkt daneben. The solemnity of the cathedral truly hits one in the heart. So I should come to the cathedral of priests and sisters' advice. I hope that the non-aggression pact means we can be friends with the peoples of the Republic and the Empire. God is in the sky. Give us your guidance. Now close your eyes. Hold your hands over your heart. No, I don't wanna pray, never! Warum heißt der Worshipper, wenn nicht worshipen will? Oh, what an incredible glass window. Call them stained glass! This cathedral has been affiliated with the liberal royal family for many years. We accepted our role in the signing ceremony as part of that. However, the judge is ultimately neutral. All we can really do is pray to the goddess and watch over the proceedings. Father Kevin is dispatched from a high seat. It's quite odd one. It's rather frivolous for a holy man, giving me ample cause for concern. Perhaps many of the traveling priests are like him. Locked. Ah. In the city. Symbol perched on the ground. Yeah. Ich würde nicht eigentlich nicht vermuten, dass es innerhalb eines dieser Häuser ist. Lass mich überlegen. Symbol perched upon the ground. Perched on the ground. Das heißt, es ist irgendwo auf dem Boden. Entweder ist es so wie in der Kathedrale drauf abgedruckt oder ist es vielleicht sowas wie ein Schild, das am Boden steht. Okay. Es sind ein paar Wägen, Bildern dran, aber irgendwie. Okay, wir können die City gerade auch nicht verlassen. Das heißt, es muss hier irgendwo sein. Oh. Ich muss zugeben, ich stehe gerade ein bisschen auf dem Schlauch mit dem. Come on, ich muss doch einfach nur meinen Hirnschmalz öffnen. So, gib mir mal eine Sekunde. So, komm. Mario, wir müssen ein bisschen wacher werden hier. Gib mir eine Sekunde. Ich mach gar nicht. Steh auf. Durchblutung wird angetrieben, damit hier mein Hirn ein bisschen arbeiten macht gleich mal. So. Ein bisschen bewegen ist immer hilfreich, wenn man den ganzen Tag vorm PC saß. Dann ist man einfach nicht ganz so fit. Deswegen. Oh. Ich meine, ich gehe leider in letzter Zeit nicht mehr so viel raus, wie ich mir normalerweise wünschen würde. Aber ich versuche es zumindest halbwegs regelmäßig, auch wenn es dann halt mal wieder so ein 23, 24 Uhr Nachtspaziergang ist. Dann passiert es. Ich schwöre euch, ja. Ich gehe halt, weil ich tagsüber kaum Zeit habe, gehe ich abends einfach manchmal raus, so wie gesagt 23, 24 Uhr, manchmal sogar 1 rum und gehe ein bisschen spazieren, bis so eine Viertelstunde, 30 Minuten. Ich sag's euch, meine Nachbarin glaubt wahrscheinlich, ich vertick Drogen oder sowas um die Zeit. Warum soll ich, das ist sonst so ein junger Typ nachts um so 1 rum oder 12 rum für so eine halbe Stunde mal kurz die Wohnung verlassen. Ich sag's euch, ich glaube weil ich musste jedes Mal an der Wohnung vorbei, ich höre, dass sie noch wach ist und die hört wahrscheinlich, dass ich gerade die Wohnung verlasse aus irgendeinem Grund. Da denke ich, muss ich immer nachdenken, was die wohl glaubt von mir. Ich meine, wie gesagt, manchmal habe ich einfach sonst keine wirkliche Zeit rauszugehen. Ich meine, abends ist es auch schön, es ist dunkel, nicht viele Leute sind unterwegs, man hat so eine Ruhe. Trotzdem laufen da viele Tiere rum. Ich hatte einmal, bin ich nach Hause gelaufen und dann ist da einfach für eine Weile aus dem Grund eine Katze neben mir hergelaufen. Es war sehr cute, hat mir viel Spaß gemacht. Das andere Mal habe ich sowas wie ein Wiesel oder Frettchen gesehen. Ja, nachts viel Fauna Fauna? Ja, unterwegs. So. Ich hoffe, mein Blut ist jetzt ein bisschen am Weiterpumpen. Ich habe jetzt ein bisschen mich bewegt. Ein bisschen meine Power angekurbelt. So. Das wird für 5 Minuten oder so halten wahrscheinlich, aber okay. Symbol perched on the ground in the city. Das heißt, wir sind irgendwo hier. Ich würde vermuten aber eigentlich, dass wir nicht dass wir halt nicht zu sowas wie in das Castle gehen sollen. Oder eigentlich auch nicht die Kathedrale, aber die Kathedrale hat dieses Symbol auf dem Boden. Hat aber auch noch nicht geholfen. Das Symbol. Das ist halt schwierig. Was ist dieses Symbol, um das es geht? Drüben im Harbor District haben wir eigentlich... Ich war gerade ganz kurz. Ich wusste nicht, dass wir diese Vögel eigentlich ansprechen können. Diese Formulierung perched upon the ground, perched on the ground ist auch so ein bisschen eigen. Es klingt nicht so. Es klingt so, als wäre es irgendwie auf dem Boden aufgestellt oder gesetzt und nicht direkt als Teil des Bodens. Und das ist ein bisschen strange. Das würde. Ich meine, ich finde es natürlich nett, dass sie mir dieses In the City diesen Hinweis gegeben haben, aber come on. Ich kann die Stadt eh gerade nicht verlassen. Und ich bin mir ziemlich sicher, ab dem Moment, wo ich die Stadt wieder verlassen könnte, wird die Quest ausgelaufen sein. Weil ich nur ein Short, weil die nur eine Short Dauer hat. Ist nirgendwo wirklich ein Symbol, dass man untersuchen kann. Ich spüre meine Möglichkeit jetzt schon wieder. Ich habe leider wenig geschlafen die letzten Tage, muss ich zugeben. Das brauche ich ein bisschen. Ich würde gerne mal ein bisschen mehr streamen können und zwar ein bisschen, dabei auch ein bisschen fitter sein. Es könnte eine Shopping Mall irgendwo sein. This season, sales always take a dive. So I'm definitely not missing out on using a big event like the signing ceremony to boost our intake. Alright, we're gonna hold a big old packed signings memorial sale. Hier ist wieder so ein Symbol perched on the ground eigentlich. Aber das scheint es auch nicht zu sein. Scheiße. Symbol on the ground. Blau mit seinen dummen, geschwollenen Schreiben. Fuck deine Rappen. Fuck. Den nicht wisst, aber ja. Das hatte ich untersucht. Jetzt wird's schon ein bisschen lächerlich. Hier ist nichts. Okay. Ich weiß es gerade echt nicht, was wir wollen. Nirgendwo ist, was ich sehen würde zumindest. Underground. Ich bin ein bisschen frustriert gerade, dass ich das jetzt nicht finde. Warte, aber der erste war doch so... ging so einfach und das zweite... das stehe ich einfach nur so hart auf dem Schlauch. hier unten. Ich kann mir nicht vorstellen, dass das hier unten sein soll. Nee. Hier unten wäre es nicht. Das zweifle ich sehr, sehr an. Es würden sie anders formulieren. Die Formulierung ist nicht so, als würde es da unten. Oh, ich wünschte, ich wäre manchmal nachts so müde, als wir jetzt. Oh. Nix. Ah, Gott! Das war's mit meinem Energy Drink auch. Ich habe ja eigentlich schon alles durchsucht. Und nichts gefunden. Ja. Sign Paar Symbol perched on the ground. Ergibt keinen Sinn für mich. Die Symbole, Schilder hängen alle. Morgens, was ist denn das? Keine Ahnung, das da waren wir ja schon. Ich war hier. Hier ist Zeug auf dem Boden, aber irgendwie glaube ich nicht, dass es das Richtige ist. Warte mal hier, das ist interessant, aber direkt hier. Ah, auch hier ist es nicht. Scheiße. Oh, worauf kann das? Das Hinweis. Ah, verdammt, noch eins. Okay, langsam werde ich ein bisschen verzweifelt. Gezogen, um Last Story zu spielen. Alles klar, Pinja Girl. Anführungszeichen Pinja Girl. Vielleicht recht Power Freak wahrscheinlich. Symbol perched on the ground, huh? Zwei Falken symbols seems suspect to me. White? Ich glaube, die Speziesname ist White Falken, würde ich vermuten. This badge is the symbol of Libra, so it would stand out. Let's have a look. There's a heart stuck to the base of the iron fence. Okay, the third key will be for a man's examine the will of the Blue Knight. Alright, we got it. But what does the Blue Knight mean? Is he talking about the Royal Guard? You certainly wear blue uniforms. I think not. It says the 4 months, so I don't think the Royal Guard makes sense. More than anything else, it would be wouldn't be beautiful to try something else. Is that right? Well, it is coming from someone similar, so I guess maybe I should listen to the warning here. It's 4 months, eine der Embassies vielleicht? Wicked Sator came out of the embassy just a bit ago. The expression was impassive, but he was so cool. Okay, vor ein Manze. Ich weiß nicht, was Manze für ein Wort ist. Lasst mich mal kurz was über... Okay. Google Übersetzer ein. Ja, das meinst du jetzt noch. Schauen. Nicht unbedingt ein Wort, das man jeden Tag in des Tages so trifft. Powerhouse. Okay. Okay. Irgendwas. Will of the Blue Knight. Ja, hier ist sie. Okay, nee, hier sind... Turm, gib alles. Oh, nee. Nee, es würde keinen Sinn machen. Ich vermute einfach, es ist in einer der Embassies. Also gehen wir als erstes in die Embassies. Und wenn es dann nicht ist, dann verzweifeln wir, Leute. Relativ simpel und einfach. Fangen wir einfach mal hier an. Hey, Sin! Still keeping busy. Let me guess, business at the embassy. Yeah, I'd like to speak to Alice about something. She's in, right? Well, I haven't seen her leave, so I guess she's around. Oh, who's with you? Gotta ask, you know, policy. Oh, they're helping me with some guild work. I'm going to introduce them to Elsa. Huh, well, okay. If they're with you, Sin, I guess I can let them in. Alles klar, auf geht's in die Embassies. So, welcome to the Calvadian Embassy. Oh, do keep in mind that the embassy hall is Calvard soil, Calvard and Libel are friends, but still, keep your nose clean, oh yeah? You hear that, Olivia? And again, my heart is assaulted with arrows. How little trust you have in me. Oh, okay, wir sind direkt drin. Calvard Embassy, das dürften wir beim letzten Mal nicht rein, bin ich mir ziemlich sicher. Oh, magnificent. Wow, this is the Calvadian Embassy. I didn't expect it to be quite so fancy. And yet it's a bit exotic as well. I really like it. Well, quite a few people from even farther east have settled in Calvard, you know. I've had an impact on our culture too. Anyway, Elsa's office is the furthest room on the second floor. Alrighty. So, schauen wir uns doch mal ein bisschen um. Ah, Sin! Hey, I'm back. Mike ended up borrowing a room, so I'll be in your care if that happens. Of course. I have everything squeaky clean for you. Okay. Was haben wir denn hier? Counselor Benicio. Oh, Yolo. Bei verlissenen Sinn. Ich weiß nicht genau, wie man das ausspricht. Counselor Pleasure. All together here. Are they your guests? Yes, they're co-workers with the guild. Are you here about the threat letter? It says a... I hope. It says a guest. It's a request from the guild, from the Royal Army. Do you have any ideas? Threat letters like that aren't exactly rare in the Republic. To be honest, I barely paid it any heed at all. True, there are a lot of radical groups in the country. Yes, they always cause trouble when the issue of immigration comes up. Well, this time at least I can't say anything. And you see what the master could train things first. Yes, we'll go do that right now. The partners. Alles klar. Terror? My. Is that hulk of a man over there Sin? I don't even need to see your face to know. Hey, are you seriously going to judge based on my body size? I thought you were there when we first met. Why? Days. Sin is always going back and forth between Liberal and the Republic. Must be hard on him. But take care not to push yourself too hard and lose your health. What's someone in here? This shelf holds the Doll Knight series. Ach du Heilige, okay. Storytime, boys and girls. Chapter 1. The Puppeteer's Apprentice. Long ago, in a certain little village, there lived a young boy. He was some 13 years old. His name was Pedro. Pedro was a small boy and not very strong, but his fingers were dexterous enough to astonish anyone. When he moved his whittling knife, wooden blocks would turn into birds and wonderful creatures, as if by magic. The boy spent his days with these crafts as his life. One day, strange travelers came by the village. An old man with sharp eyes and a large man in black garb casually strolled into the general store, whereupon their eyes were drawn to a wooden bird so cunningly carved that one could almost hear its wings beat the air. It was Pedro's latest creation. After inquiring with the owner of the general store, the old man and his escort came upon the little house where Pedro lived, and the first words they had for him were, "Prepare your things, we're leaving for the city." Pedro, eyes wide in shock at the order. "What is this?" he cried. "Who are you people any—" His eyes fell on the large man in black. Pedro's words caught in his throat. The old man chuckled. "So you did notice. I thought you would." From the old man's fingers stretched transparent threads. He gestured, and the black-garbed man bowed gracefully. The immense man was a clockwork puppet. He is the Black Priest," the old man said. "My finest work." His wrinkled face creased further as he smiled slyly. He was the famous Master Capri Oratoria, puppeteer known throughout Veltluna. Oratoria fixed Pedro with a beady eye. "You could craft something even greater than this. Doesn't the mere fact excite you?" No more words were needed. Tossing his carving knife into a sack, Pedro fixed his cap on his head and greeted his new master by saying farewell to his old home. Okay. The Blue Knight. Oh, okay. The years passed swiftly for Pedro at Oratoria's workshop on the outskirts of the capital. Under the tutelage of Puppeteer Capri, he learned the techniques to build clockwork puppets and the skills to make them dance and perform. After 3 years of training, he completed his own masterpiece, a doll of noble bearing, dressed in armor with a gleaming blue helm. With Capri's masterwork, the Black Priest was a martial arts type focused on maneuverability. Pedro's blue puppet was a well-balanced swordsman. Its counterattacks as it turned aside the Black Priest's punches and kicks were the very image of a graceful knight. "What will you call it?" Capri asked. Pedro had no answer. He had been so focused on its creation that he hadn't actually thought of one. Ultimately, it would come to be called the Blue Knight before he could name it. It was some time after Pedro constructed the Blue Knight that the king who ruled from the city would pass on from their world. The king had long been ill, so there was little shock, and the mourning period passed smoothly. And so, in accordance with the law, the king's only daughter, Princess Tia, would ascend to the throne as queen. Okay, Chapter 3. On the road home. Pedro visited the city accompanied by the Blue Knight. With the crowning ceremony approaching, the streets were abuzz with excitement. As he strode the city center, people passing by cast strange looks his way. What a noble knight he must be. Sure, he must be quite a famous hero. Do you suppose he's attending the crowning ceremony? Trailing quietly behind the Blue Knight, Pedro could hardly keep himself from doing a little dance. It felt like a step towards Capri, who could control the Black Priest as if it was human itself. Of course, at the same time he found it annoying that others thought him the servant of his own creation. It was on his way back to the workshop outside of town that Pedro's humming was interrupted by a scream. "No, please stop!" cried a voice from the woods. "No one's gonna save you," a man growled. "Give up and give in." From the looks of things, some thuggish man had a girl cornered. Dainty and clad in a white dress, the girl's searching eyes sought desperately for a way to flee from the danger. Pedro squared his shoulders, and lowering his cap to shadow his eyes, he set his fingers in motion. The Blue Knight charged forward. A righteous display. Upon seeing the Blue Knight appear like a shadow from the heart of the forest, the man harassing the girl could only gape in amazement. "Leave the girl and leave this place," the Blue Knight declared from the depths of its helmet. This was the ventriloquism that the old master had drilled into his head as a secret of puppeteering. Who the hell are you? Get out of here before you get hurt! Fools! With a jab from its clockwork fist, the Blue Knight knocked back the man holding the woman and pivoted swiftly to kick both men away. "Are you hurt, young lady?" "No, I am well." "Good. It would be best if you stood back." At last, the Blue Knight drew its sword. Swathed in black, a third man, who seemed like the leader, approached. "Not bad for a wanderer." Pedro eyed the new arrival. A black-garbed man's stance suggested he knew something of proper swordsmanship. "Enough playing around, though. Hand over the girl and I'll see you rewarded." To ignore one's duties is to be without courage. "I fear I cannot do that," said the Black Knight. "Well then, die!" screamed the black-garbed man and attacked. Wir hatten gerade 4. Chapter 5. The girl with sky blue eyes. The man in black attacked. From the upper right, feinted as if to strike the shoulder, but twisted his wrist and changed to slash across the body. Pedro, having read the feint, pulled at his strings. The Blue Knight stepped back a half step, dodging the horizontal slash, and smacked the outstretched blade, knocking it from his foe's hands. "Impossible!" The black-garbed man rubbed his numb hand and paled as the Blue Knight swiftly shifted slightly. As if it was a sign, the thugs turned and scattered like baby spiders. The girl gave a sigh of relief and curtsied. "Thank you very much." She was still a bit shaky, but her manner was that of a noble woman. "It is the duty of every knight to protect. I had no mind." "Ah, are you from fine lands, perhaps?" Suddenly, Pedro was struck with a moment of whimsy. "I am the touring knight Pedro. The boy there is my servant," he made the puppet reply. The girl finally seemed to notice him, faced him with an expression of bewilderment. However, Pedro was no less surprised. Indeed, his shock was many, many times greater than hers. Cool, turquoise blue eyes, that familiar, agingly lovely form. It was the same girl he had seen at ceremonies and from the balcony of the palace. "Your Highness," he blurted. The girl wrapped in pure white was the very girl who had just lost her father, was to be crowned in the capital. It was Princess Tia. Okay. Chapter 6 dann. Chapter 6. The Melancholy of the Princess. Would you be willing to guard me for these 2 weeks until the crowning ceremony? In the royal throne room, Princess Tia asked this question with a serious expression. Of course, she asked it not of paper, but of the Blue Knight. Have you not a royal guard? Surely you would be far better off with them as your protectors. Unable to say that the Blue Knight was a puppet, Pedro followed as far as the throne room. He shivered, sensing even more trouble about to come. The royal guard that protect the capital they obey the words of my uncle, Duke Gaston. Even before they abandoned me and fled, Princess Tia said softly. Duke Gaston was a man surrounded by bad rumors. It was an open secret that he took advantage of the previous king's illness to line his own purse. The man in black you've confronted, Sir Pedro, I am sure that was my uncle's second in command. All of it was planned. Mrs. Tia's sky blue eyes clouded. At this point, the kindly Pedro could hardly refuse the role of escort. Understood. I shall accept your request, he had the Blue Knight reply. Princess Tia's smile was like the sun breaking through the clouds. Thank you, Sir Knight. Thank you so very much. He turned towards Pedro as well. And you, good servant. May I ask for your name? Ja, das ist jetzt natürlich ein bisschen blöd. Pedro hid his eyes once more in the shadow of his cap. I'm no one worthy of naming myself. Chapter 7. Turbulent days. Protecting the princess proved harder than predicted. After all, almost every day, there were ne'er-do-wells sent after her. Eventually, partially due to their closeness and age, Princess Tia and Pedro, still playing the servant, came to speak very openly to each other. While glad for the princess's trust, he didn't know what he would do if the truth of the Blue Knight came out. Pedro was beside himself with worry. On the other side of the city, the letter was delivered to a certain puppet workshop. What is that boy doing? Guessing the circumstances from the very vague statements in Pedro's letter, Fabri sighed and gave a bitter smile. However, perhaps this is a good chance, he mused. Pedro was ever bright, and straight as an arrow, and his thoughts were always of puppets. Partly due to living outside the city, he had no friends he could call close, yet it hardly seemed as if he felt lonely for it. With the role of escort to the princess was perhaps beyond his station. If it proved a chance to awaken more human feelings in his apprentice, Capri could only wish him the best with a parent's heart. Dann Chapter 8. What makes the darkness shake? That girl has the devil's own luck! In a dim room, lit by flickering candle, flames Duke Gaston's cursed hatefully. He felt not a moment of sympathy or care for his niece. At this rate, she shall see the crowning ceremony, he snarled. This night, Pedro can't handle him. He's the first man so skilled that we've encountered. I fear that even if the royal guard attacked at once, it might be difficult. Recalling the shame of having his sword knocked from his hand, Duke Gaston's second in command bit his lip. Still, I have nothing to fear, he said. By a bit of an odd character, we have hired a skilled assassin to handle this, my lord. Odd? What sort of person is he? Did you call? Flame stands bewitchingly, and went out as one. As if something tremendously heavy had collapsed down onto it. The carpeted floor shook with a thud. Who is it? Duke Gaston took a step back. The shadow illuminated by the moon was tremendous and inhuman. My lord, fear not. This is our assassin, Harlequin. He will remove all that is in your way with his puppet. The assassin sketched a mocking bow. I do love hunting. I don't take jobs unless the prey is lively. A sickening laugh shook the darkness, bringing a nasty smile to the Duke's face as well. Worry not, I'm sure your hunt will be most enjoyable. And so did the night, bathed in red, by a crimson moon fade to dawn, melting like ice. Das waren alle hier. Haben wir mehr? Wir haben mehr. Ach du Heilige, 16? Geht es hier? Oh fuck, okay, wir machen weiter. Ich bin investiert in die Story jetzt. Chapter 9. Afternoon in the Lesser Palace. Afternoon in the palace began with a tea party in the gardens. Princess, as always, took 3 cups with black tea from the pot. Please enjoy your tea. My thanks, the Blue Knight intoned. Thank you very much, Pedro said. Pedro moved the Blue Knight with his left hand as he sipped the tea made by the princess. It was the happiest moment in the otherwise busy days. Good servant, you really seem to enjoy your tea. Makes it very worth the effort for the one who made it. Ha! You are too kind. Smiling bitterly, Pedro pulled his strings. The Blue Knight, in one go, emptied the tea in the cup into the leather sack in his neck. At this, Princess Tia could only sigh. Where's Sir Pedro here seems to hardly find it delicious at all. It makes it difficult to be motivated. Pardon me. I fear I am an impolite man. In his heart, Pedro felt a nervous edge, but the Blue Knight answered with an ever-calm face. There had been countless moments where it seemed as if everything would be revealed. Princess Tia showed no signs of doubting the truth of the Blue Knight. Princess smiled faintly, but her expression quickly turned somber. I suppose it doesn't matter. These fun afternoons will end tomorrow. After the crowning ceremony the following day, we shall both leave the city after all. Chapter 10. Nicht nay, but a faint pain. At the princess's lonely words, Pedro's heart beat fast as a drum. I fear I am a man on the path of the warriors, so my apologies, the Blue Knight said. No, I should apologize. I should hardly make much of a queen like this. The princess shook herself and smiled brightly. Forgetting to control the puppet, Pedro ducked his head to hide the longing on his face. He would have loved to stay as her guard. Though she might have been of noble birth, Princess Tia was a lonely girl who had lost her father. However, she had been speaking not of the servant like Pedro, but of the Blue Knight. To the princess, Pedro was simply part of the package. Thinking that made his chest hurt somehow. It was a pain such as he'd never felt when he was handling his puppets. Oh, das geht gerade ein bisschen auf meinem Hals. Ultimately, Pedro had chosen, even if it meant saddening the princess, to flee from this unreasonable pain in his chest. Would you like a second cup? As if to clear the heavy atmosphere, Princess offered the pot with a smile. Oh, that does sound good. And giving me a cup. With a nerving laugh, the shadow leapt in. Oh, that does sound good. And giving me a cup. With a nerving laugh, a shadow leapt in. What? A sudden gust tore through the garden, sending a tea set flying off the table. Crimson wings beat the air as an immense puppet in the form of a devil fell to the earth. Sorry for interrupting your lovely tea party, tittered a voice. Would you mind playing with me for a bit? The devil's left arm was a human figure. Alles klar! Alles klar, dir auch noch viel Spaß und einen schönen Abend noch. The devil's left arm was a human figure, was the masked puppeteer, Harlequin. I'll make sure it's plenty of fun, he giggled. 11. The devil's attack. Lady Tia, stand back! Pedro, shooting the princess behind him, sent the Blue Knight forward toward the Crimson Devil's right arm. It was a blind spot for the masked puppeteer. With a rapid turn, the knight let loose his heavy strike. The tip of the sword was swallowed up in the base of the creature's wing. The demon's right arm flashed up, blatant claws scraped, sending sparks into the air. Losing its balance, the Blue Knight took an unsteady step back. The demon gave a shiver, and barbed tail thick as a log screamed through the air, striking forward. Astonished by the technique, Pedro snapped the Blue Knight back, dodging the tail swipe. Oh, you are good. Didn't think you were in the same business. The masked puppeteer spoke not to the Blue Knight, but to Pedro. Blue Knight, as if to interrupt these words, pointed its sword at the puppeteer. What nonsense are you speaking? You shall not come, and shall I strike first. Even now, Pedro tried to hide it. Princess Tia, with a confused expression, gazed upon the preceding events. I see. That's how it is. The masked puppeteer, as if suddenly realizing the situation, laughed softly. My. Well, let no one call me rude. If you'd rather not share, stay quiet. But you know, the puppeteer's voice dipped low, was tinged with a roiling darkness. You don't even have that much guts. And even thinking you can win against me, against my calamity is naive. Chapter 12, The Crimson Demon. The demon called Adult Calamity kicked the ground and launched itself into the air, closing the gap in an instant. Pedro reacted just a moment too slow. So intent was he on not wanting the princess to notice. It was the tiniest of openings, but it was one that would prove fatal. First, the sword was knocked from clockwork hands. Then, the claws continued to dig in, cutting through the blue armor like butter. Oh my, what's wrong? The tail whipped in, encircling the Blue Knight. The twitch of the puppeteer's fingers, the tail tightened, crushing both the knight's arms. What you? Claws grabbed the Blue Knight by its feathered helm and lifted it up off its feet. Stop! The first puppeteer, first puppet he'd made, and he put so much effort in, was being torn to pieces. Eine Sekunde. The first puppet he'd made, that he'd put so much effort into, was being torn to pieces. Pedro lost himself for a moment and ran forward. You're so impatient. No need to worry. I was going to give him back. The Crimson Demon held the Blue Knight high and threw it down towards Pedro. Ah! Blue Knight crashed into Pedro and bowled him over. He lay in a crumbled heap upon the lawn under the body of the puppet. Please, stop! The princess stepped between the fallen pair and the masked puppeteer, her arms spread wide. I offer myself to you in return, and command you to cease the senseless violence. Oh no, princess! Don't do this. Ja, 12 hatten wir. Dann ist jetzt 13. Saying goodbye. I offer myself to you. In return, I command you to cease the senseless violence. The Princess Tia spoke words. The puppeteer licked his lips loudly. You'd offer yourself in place of your god. Why, you bring tears to my eyes, princess. You mustn't, Lady Tia. Barely conscious, Pedro desperately tried to put together words together. He had not the energy to use ventriloquism. My master, Pedro is fine. Give it to him. Hurry, run! Sir Pedro, silence! At the princess's angry words, Pedro managed to open his eyes fully, but those words were addressed most surely to he, still garbed and acting the servant. You knew? Yes, I'm sorry. I pretended not to notice. The princess smiled in a sad, lonely way, then turned to the puppeteer again with a dignified expression. Now, take me to my uncle. Oh my! Oh my! What a princess you are! I bet you would have made quite a queen too! The demon slowly stretched out its right arm. When the princess stepped on, it began to beat its crimson wings. Sir Pedro, Thank you so much. This last week was very fun. His words of goodbye sunk into his brain. As he watched his the scarlet shadow be swallowed into the blue sky, Pedro's consciousness slowly faded into darkness. Okay, 14. The cost of the seed. Next morning, when Pedro opened his eyes, he found himself in his room at a doll workshop. Safe on his familiar floor in bed, he felt a rush of relief. It had all been a dream. Capri called out from the workshop. Oh, how are you feeling? Pedro craned his neck. On the workbench in the back, he glimpsed the sampled blue parts spread out across the wood. He leaped up, panicked. It wasn't a dream. It seemed Capri had used the Black Priest to bring Pedro in the broken form of the Blue Knight back from the castle. It's my fault. Pedro's eyes trailed over his former masterpiece, now reduced to junk. His memory then trailed back over cool, turquoise blue eyes, a warm smile like a ray of sunlight, and fine fingers pouring black tea. Pedro ground his lip between his teeth. Blue Knight wasn't good enough. If I had any talent as a puppeteer, I would have been able to protect Princess Tia. It seems you still don't understand, Capri muttered. His face took on a rare expression of severity. But your leg is here! In a forceful motion, he grabbed his finger up against Pedro's chest. Pedro could only blink in shock. 15. A little decision. Your Highness knew the truth of the Blue Knight, yet she chose to pretend not to. Do you really not understand why? Because, unexpectedly, in the depths of his mind, he had a flash of insight. Sir Pedro, silence. Sir Pedro, silence, she had said, and then I pretended not to notice. He recalled the sad, lonely smile she gave him when she revealed it. Something hot boiled up inside his chest. Pedro raised his gaze and fixed Capri with an intense gaze. Master, I beg of you, help me repair the Blue Knight. The old man studied his face. The masked puppeteer you fought is a man feared like a demon, our trade. A half-baked man can't hope to match him. Do you understand? Ah! Even so, I will for the person who believed in me. When he said this, Capri smiled broadly, as if something grand had just fallen in his lap. It was the day before the crowning ceremony. At the palace, Princess' absence had been noticed, and the royal keep fell into uproar, from top to bottom. There's a card trap between the pen. Alles klar, sehr schön, wir haben die Karte gefunden. Ich werde trotzdem den Rest lesen, definitiv. Ich will die verdammte Geschichte von Pedro und Prinzessin Tia zu Ende hören, what the fuck? Door has already been opened. Join the dance of the valorous. What? Oh, look what I found. Oh, I get it. I guess this is technically considered Republican territory. It absolutely is a foreign man, sir. Blue Knight is a character from the novel, I think. Yes, it sure is detail-oriented. Anyway, I got a feeling that this next one is the last of them. Dance of the Valors. Well, now where could that be? Ich habe keine Ahnung. Aber ich glaube auch, dass ich hiernach nicht mehr lange streamen werde, weil ich die Stimmen absolut nicht mehr hinbekomme. Mein Hals ist gerade richtig am Zusammenbrechen. Chapter 16. Oh Mann. The Duke's private manor. On the outskirts of the capital in Duke Gaston's manor, Princess Tia sat in a large room, carpeted in deep crimson. It's perfect for you, princess. With a satisfied expression, Duke Gaston glared at his bound prisoner. What do you intend to do about the crowning ceremony today? Princess Tia asked in a quiet voice. Duke shrunk a bit under her icy gaze. I am afraid you will be absent, so the throne and staff will be offered to me, the second in line. You believe the people will accept you? To change the subject here, I have found someone willing to accept you as a bride. Seeing the sky-colored eyes waver for a moment, the Duke smiled with renewed confidence. Is the second Imperial son and quite the connection? The Duke's smile widened. While you learn the joys of womanhood in a new land, and leave the rest to me. It was a cowardly plan. Certainly, it was the scenario that would be accepted for the Duke to take the throne in place of the first heir. However, it was different if the princess were to marry. If that were to pass, anyone could see that Duke Gaston ascent to the throne was all but a done deal. My lord, it's about time. At his second in command's comment, the Duke stood. I'm sure you are quite tired from the daily attacks. Take the chance to rest and recover. The Duke gave a chuckle at his own shamelessness and left the room. At this moment, that won't be happening. There was a tremendous crash and the glass window exploded into glittering powder. Ich müsste alle haben, ja, richtig? Ja. And so the boy becomes a man. Alles klar. Like a graceful leopard, a tall knight clad in blue armor leapt through the window. Following behind him was a small boy wearing a cap. Princess Tia, I'm sorry. I know I'm a bit late, he said. Sir Pedro, so you did come after all. A tremendous smile floated onto the princess's face. Somewhat embarrassed, the boy returned the smile. Their eyes locked and words unsaid passed between them. Hey, there's a time and place for things. The Duke, having been completely ignored, was sputtering in anger. As the Duke seethed, his second in command was stealthily sneaking up on the still-bound princess, reached out his hand for the princess's shoulder. The Blue Knight leapt forward like a bolt from a crossbow. Pity's second in command, having taken a direct punch from the Blue Knight, collapsed against the wall, unconscious. That's a bit much! Gaston, now white as a sheet, fled the room in a stumbling lurch. Mrs. Tia, let us hurry. The crowning ceremony begins soon, Pedro said. Yes, escaping the mans. The two were pursued by the Duke and his guard. However, as if to obstruct their path, the scarlet shadow fell down, shaking the ground. Sorry, but I'm gonna have to get in your way. I'm afraid thoroughness is the #1 part of being a puppeteer after all. The way he spoke made it hard to believe it was just a job. It was the masked puppeteer Harlequin and the Crimson Demon Doll, Calamity. Ist es sein Meister eigentlich vielleicht? 18. The duel between red and blue. White blade made deadly claw. Blue and red twisted about in blinding fashion. The cover of the fight had been cleaved off. Oh, you're moving better, Harlequin exclaimed. Surprisingly, the Blue Knight's movements were just a little bit faster than that of the Crimson Devil puppet, Calamity. I broke it all to pieces too, but to fix it back up in just one day. Looks like the old man found himself a good apprentice. You know my master. Harlequin twirled his fingers and Calamity fluttered its wings and slowly lifted into the sky. We have a bit of a history. Yes, he giggled, but forget about this. What'll you do about this? As he howled these words, the red puppet swooped down. Pedro pulled his strings back, and the Blue Knight narrowly avoided the grasping claws. Ah, this! Smooth as flowing water, Calamity sent out its lock-like tail to swipe at the knight. Pedro's threads flowed down and to the right, dropping its center of gravity. Blue Knight shifted its sword to a slant, he redirected the force of the tail upward. What this? Calamity swung its horned head around and charged straight for the Blue Knight's torso. Pedro snapped its threads upward to his left this time. Blue Knight, who had let itself fall slightly back, slashed his sword down in a blur of light. A small, pleasant cracking sound. Crimson wing on the right side of the puppet was hewn straight off. Shit. Pick it up, das hatten wir, ja. Also sind wir jetzt Chapter 19. Red Hot Roar. Slightly panicked, the masked puppeteer wrenched back on the strings, put space between himself and the Blue Knight. Hey, how about we call it a draw here? Knowing it was hopeless, Pedro still offered. Hey, how about we call it a draw here? Knowing it was hopeless, Pedro still offered. As he expected, a heavy voice called back. Now, don't make bad jokes like that. It's been too long since I've had this much fun after all. Seemingly drunk on warped joy, Harlequin twisted his hands about in a complex motion. It looked almost as if he were drawing magic circles in the air. I didn't think I'd end up using this, he giggled. Calamity crossed both arms across its body, as if holding itself. Slowly, burning scent filled the air. A cold chill ran down Pedro's spine. He set to moving the Blue Knight, but realized the princess was behind it. You can regret it in your next life, Harlequin screamed. Crimson Demon took an imposing stance. Its massive jaws creaked, there was a rushing of air, and then a ball of brilliant flames spewed forth. The area was engulfed in a violent pillar of swirling fire. The Blue Knight, Pedro, and Princess were all swallowed by the inferno. So that's it, is this? Guess it was kind of a pity to end it there, huh? Gazing at the roaring flames, Harlequin muttered regretfully. However, his eyes soon narrowed puzzled. No scent of meat roasting or meat melting reached his nose. What? The crimson maelstrom began to swirl faster. The center suddenly parted, as if blown apart from the inside. From the middle rose a blue twister. The whereabouts of the death match. From within the flame, the Blue Knight arose. Across its shoulders, Pedro and the Princess Tia were seen clinging, hale and hearty. What had blown away the raging flames was its tremendous two-handed sword, spinning the enormous blade like a whirlwind. A butterfly made of flame danced above the Blue Knight's head. It was a fantastical scene. You think that'll work? Harlequin began gesturing again. It seemed he intended to launch another fireball. I won't let you, Pedro cried. Splitting through the wall of flames, the Blue Knight forced its way forward. The next moment, Calamity's horned head was cleaved perfectly in two. Absolutely wonderful. The fireball, moments from release, puffed up with the crimson puppet, caused a small explosion. Flung by the shockwave, the Blue Knight was tossed into the air. Pedro braced both legs and managed to catch it. So Pedro, are you alright? I'm fine, yeah, but I don't think there's any saving him. Though Harlequin may have been a foe, this was still a life that had been taken. Pedro felt the guilt of such a deed strike him. Princess Tia, seeing Pedro so troubled, enveloped him in her arms. I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't kill me off so easily, said a whispering voice from inside the pillar of flames. The voice seemed somehow satisfied. I applaud your efforts, young man. I'll back down nicely this time. Looking forward to when we next meet. The ground shook. The red and black shadow launched skyward and disappeared from sight. Pedro and the princess looked at one another and burst into relieved laughter. Ah, das war... Oh fuck, das war nicht richtig. Welches war das nochmal? War das Nummer 19? Oder Nummer 20? War Nummer 20, okay. 21. The Dollmaster's Purpose. The boy, the girl, and one puppet left for the capital on light feet, while the masked puppeteer fled in the deep forest, writing a scorched creation. Stopping suddenly, masked puppeteer spoke to the shadow in the trees. But there aren't you, old man? You noticed me, did you? It was Master, Capri, stepped out from the cover of the trees. As always, the black priest was with him, but it was a curious sight, for the puppet had no arms. As I thought, you fixed the blue puppet's arms with parts from the black priest. No wonder it moved so well. Well, the gap between you and Pedro was a bit too much after all. I took it upon myself to give him a helping hand. Harlequin's shoulders sunk in response to the words of the old puppet master. Well, I don't mind since I had fun, but if and when the 13 factories find out about this, I don't think Pedro will have it too easy either, do you? The 13 factories. The moment he heard those disturbing words, Capri's expression darkened. Well then, see you soon. Leaving behind a suppressed laugh, the masked puppeteer disappeared into the deep forest. It is a road all puppeteers must pass, the old puppet master muttered in a quiet voice, almost as if he was telling it to himself. Okay. Finale. Oh, Errungenschaft, the Blue Knight. Ah, okay. Final chapter, a moment's rest. Afternoon, the palace began with a tea party in the gardens. The princess, as always, filled 3 cups with black tea from the pot. Please enjoy your tea. Thank you very much, Pedro said. Behind the boy sipping tea stood a knight, armored in blue. However, he had not a word to say. What happened to the Duke in the end? On the night of the crowning ceremony, Duke Gaston had disappeared with his vassals. After all, his plan had been foiled, and the Queen successfully crowned for countless countrymen. The royal guard, whose allegiance had been questionable before the coronation, fell to their knees in contrition, swore their loyalty to the new Queen. Ich bin mir nicht sicher, ob wir die Royal Guard behalten sollten. Die scheinen ein bisschen flimsy in ihrer Loyalität zu sein. The Duke, before he could be held for the crime of abducting the princess, understandably chose to flee the country. My uncle has chosen to entrust himself to the Empire. Apparently he sought protection from the imperial prince that he had arranged as a husband for me. The Queen smiled slightly. However, it seems as if they consider him something of a pest. I feel a little bit sorry for him. Pedro was amazed. I do not deserve your sympathy. In truth, Pedro did not think Duke Gaston would back down easily. And what of the machinations of that foul-masked puppeteer, Harlequin? Capri, Pedro's teacher, seemed to know the jester, but simply dodged any questions about him with frustrating vagueness. Regardless, Pedro knew another battle would come, and soon. He would have to upgrade the Blue Knight. He hoped to emerge victorious. Oh, Pedro! It's like the irritated yet comforting voice snapped Pedro from his reverie. Do you wish for your tea to grow cold? Your blue eyes, which met his own, carried their own message. He'll be alright. Pedro, a little embarrassed, took his tea and drank deeply. It was enough to simply have this moment with her. The end. Ah, das war schön. Ich würde den Rest der Story gerne wissen. What the fuck? Die haben so viel offen gelassen. Wieso haben die so viel offen gelassen in der Geschichte? Hä? Die haben auch eine dunkle Organisation mit anderen. Wie war das? Die 13, was weiß ich was? Ja, 14 Factories. Was ist das? Wir können die Story doch nicht einfach da einfach stehen lassen. Ich möchte anmerken, das klingt eigentlich wie eine interessante Prämisse für ein Game. Auch wo du gewissermaßen, du kämpfst eigentlich gar nicht selbst, sondern du baust dir so Puppen zusammen, die du kämpfen lässt, upgraden kannst und sowas. Wäre eigentlich eine ganz coole Idee. Oh Gott, mein Hals ist dead. Oh Gott, also lang können wir hier nicht mehr machen. Mein Hals ist echt kaputt. Oh, Sin. Change the label again. Hey, Yakumo. Seems like we're here for a while again. You're pretty busy yourself. Of course we are. After all, we've got a pact signing approaching. Sorry. But I won't have time to bother with you for a while. Eigentlich will ich nicht so einen kurzen Stream machen, aber meine Stimme ist eigentlich echt kaputt. Okay, machen wir das Treffen mit Cochrane noch. Es wird schon nicht Ewigkeiten gehen. Und dann hören wir auf. This should be the ambassador's office. Shall we say hello to Elsa? Ja, okay, komm. Alright, let me introduce you. Sollte ja nicht Ewigkeiten dauern. Yes, come in. Pardon us, Elsa. Why? Sin Vatic. Hello. Come in. Last I heard, you returned to Calvert. What's an old dog like you doing back here in Granson? Well, let's just say this old dog had a trick or two more to show off. I'll likely be here on the world for a while. As to be expected of an A-rank bracer, I suppose. You never let up, do you? So, who's this with you? A pleasure to meet you, ma'am. Mr. Bright of the Bracer Guild. These are our, assistants. Olivia Lenheim and Chloe Vince. A pleasure, Ambassador. It's a pleasure to meet you, Ambassador. The pleasure is mine. I'm Elsa Cochrane, Albert's ambassador to Liber. I had a feeling this is a bit more than a social call, though. I'm afraid so. Still in the party asked about the threatening letters the embassy received. Ah, that letter, yes. You're helping the Royal Army investigate the matter then. Technically, yes. Threats of terrorism aren't exactly something the guild can ignore either, though. Would you mind helping us out? Well, guess. We're well stuck into this situation after all. What would you like to know? Well, to start with, do you have any idea of who would have sent that letter? Like, does anyone in the Republic oppose the signing of the pact, or... Well, of course. You're looking at one after all. Well... Huh? Elsa, please. Try not to tease the kids too much, yeah? Well, the truth's the truth, Sin. Pretty sure I've chewed your ear off about Erebonia enough for you to know what I think, Well, yes. Still, Miss Bright, don't misunderstand me. President Rocksmith and Parliament have already approved the pact. Personal feelings won't get in the way of my job. Right. Is there anyone else from Calvert who might oppose the pact? Oh, certainly. They're all tiny groups though. To be honest, there's no real reason to oppose it anyway. No reason? I don't quite follow. It's not worth bothering. The pact doesn't have any practical effect. It's simply agreeing to the statement, we shall not rely on violence to solve international problems and negotiate instead. It's more of a declaration than anything else, but it is little more than a promise which can be broken without consequence, save a loss of face, no? Precisely. The worst it could do would be to rally other countries against the aggressor. Now, it's true that relations between Erebonia and Calvert have gotten even worse than usual over the past decade. So there's some value in establishing Liberal as a place where we can negotiate, but again, don't bother opposing that. Yeah? Doesn't really seem like the thing you'd send a bunch of threatening letters about. Well, Ambassador Cochrane, if you don't believe someone from Calvert is the perpetrator, then whom do you suspect? Well, My god, of course, tells me to blame it all on the Erebonians, the militaristic Hawk faction specifically. But frankly, even they have that new engine on the line. They aren't so stupid as to cut off their noses despite their faces. The new engine? But you mean the one from the sale? Yes. An engineering sample will be provided to both Calvert and Erebonia. It'll happen right after the signing, in fact. Oh! Ah, as to be expected of Queen Alicia. She holds both Empire and Republic in the palm of her hand. Yes, I have to admit, she's handled this masterfully. That cutting-edge engine is going to birth a whole new generation of Earthship designs. And Alicia is practically handing it out so long as you sign this agreement and play nice with it, each other, at least for a while. Even the most testosterone-poisoned ninnies among the Erebonian Hawks wouldn't want to miss this chance. Yeah, I guess so. Which means, of course, the possibility that either the Republic or the Empire interfering directly is pretty low. Indeed. I'm sorry I can't be of more help. No, you were a big help. Just being able to cross suspects off the list helps a lot. Oh, speaking of which though, we'd like to ask you about something else. You still asked the Master Cochrane about Ren's parents. Harold Hayworth, a merchant from Crossbell, Can't say it rings any bells, I'm sorry. He's never visited the embassy, at least. Oh, well, thanks. You remember that Crossbell sits directly between Erebonia and Calvert, however. I want to inquire with the Erebonian Embassy as well. Hat Crossbell nicht vielleicht eine eigene Embassy, die wir theoretisch besuchen könnten? Okay, thanks, Ambassador. Thanks for being so open with us. You're quite welcome. I'm glad I could help. By the way, you said your name was Estelle Bright. But happened to be Brigadier General Bright's daughter. Oh, I know that. Ah, of course. A heroic vanquisher of the Imperial Army, and now the head of Liberal's Royal Army. I'd heard he had a daughter, but I didn't expect to meet you like this. Well, I'm just kind of an inexperienced newbie myself still. You're off to a good start then, I think. We at the embassy have relied on the guild a number of times in the past. Let the time come again. I hope you'll aid us, Miss Bright. Well, chance comes up, sure. We'll see you around. Alles klar. Na, können wir noch mit dir reden? Ja, können wir. Estelle Bright, the embassy owes the guild greatly for your constant support. If you have any jobs come up, I would be happy if you would be the one to take them on. Ah. Wir haben immer noch das hier. An Open Door and Dance of the Valorous. Das muss ich zugeben, verstehe ich nicht. Dance of the Valorous. Open Door. Aber darum werden wir uns nächstes Mal kümmern. Nicht mehr heute. Wie gesagt, meine Stimme ist dead. Und dead. Ich muss zugeben, die ist gerade ziemlich kaputt. Deswegen würde ich würde für heute beenden. Wir haben leider heute echt nur einen wirklich kurzen Stream gehabt. Aber diese Geschichte vorlesen hat aus irgendeinem Grund, also mein Hals war eh schon angeschlagen, wie gesagt. Und diese Geschichte vorlesen hat mein Hals ziemlich zerstört und das macht mich gerade ein bisschen fertig und ich will meinen Hals nicht komplett verlieren. Deswegen ja, würde ich sagen, dass wir hier dann für heute aufhören. Aber ich meine, wir haben einen guten Fortschritt gemacht. Wir haben ein bisschen an der Sidequest weitergearbeitet. Wir haben unser Team ein bisschen nochmal neu gebalanced und wir haben ein klein wenig der Hauptstory weitergeführt. Und wir haben eine Menge an Stories gelesen. Ich bin mir nicht sicher, aber das hat bestimmt eine halbe Stunde gebraucht. Aber es war cool. War eine sehr interessante Geschichte. Ich möchte jetzt eigentlich wissen, wie es weitergeht. Ja. Auf jeden Fall. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen. Wie gesagt, dieses Wochenende wird es wahrscheinlich keinen Stream geben. Ich sag den jetzt einfach mal ab. ich hoffe, es ist ja schade, weil wir uns langsam dem Ende der Route in Omori hier annähern. Wir könnten das vielleicht hätten das dieses Mal der nächste Stream beendet. Aber dann machen wir einfach nächste Woche Samstag weiter. Nächster Stream ist dann nächste Woche Donnerstag, 19 Uhr. Ja. Mal schauen. Noch dazu muss gesagt sein, ich gehe langsam ein bisschen auf, ich habe noch ein bisschen was mit meiner Bachelorarbeit jetzt in der nächsten Zeit zu tun und ich gehe auf meine Prüfung dieses Semester zu. Das ist nicht so viel, aber es kann sein, dass es stressig wird und ich möglicherweise wieder mal Streams absagen muss. Ich weiß, es passiert in letzter Zeit sehr häufig, es tut mir sehr, sehr leid. Ich würde so gerne wieder regelmäßig hinbekommen zu streamen. Aber es ist halt gerade ein bisschen eine busy Zeit. Deswegen, ja. Aber ich glaube eigentlich, wir sollten nächste Woche die Streams hinbekommen. Das sollte eigentlich nichts dazwischen kommen. Und ja, dann würde ich sagen, vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen. Wir sehen uns in meinem nächsten Stream. Bis dahin dann.